So the first step in making a graph is to highlight all of the time, temperature, and dew point data. We removed the degrees Fahrenheit from all the temperatures and dew points. So I added a Fahrenheit up here in the title so we know that these numbers are measured in degrees Fahrenheit. So step one is to highlight. So I'm going to click and drag to highlight all of that data. I could also use my shift key, hold the shift key down, and use the arrow keys to highlight all of the data down and then over. Either way, I highlight all of the data. It then says to create a chart by going to the Insert menu, Chart. That's step 2. The Customize tab, if the chart editor does not open, you can double click the graph or the 3 dots here and go to Chart Editor. The Customize tab has 7 different topics that you can use to adjust your graph. For each of these 7, step 4 says for the chart style to make your own changes. You can change the background color, the fonts, whether you want the line to be smooth or not. When you hit the little caret for these topics, it opens up that information. So there's information for chart style. When I click the caret, it then closes. Chart and axis titles. When you open this, the first thing in green allows you to choose whether you want to change the chart title, subtitle, horizontal axis, or the vertical axis. So for the chart title, I'm going to have just say temperature and dew point. And I'm going to have that be centered and change the color to black. Notice that it moved temperature and dew point to the center. I'd also like to add a subtitle for the date. So now I have a subtitle on there. That should also be a darker color. I'm going to center that as well. So you can add and change the titles. I could change, notice that my vertical axis doesn't say degrees Fahrenheit, so I can include that over there, or the temperature. Temperature and dew point, now it says over for my vertical axis. So again, I can change the titles of all of these. That's chart and title axis. The next one says series. Again, you can adjust either both series or just adjust the temperature or just adjust the dew point if you'd rather have the dew point be a darker color, or you could adjust all the series to change what their markers are, or even just one. You make your own adjustments. For 7, where it says legend, you could choose where the legend goes, or even if you have a legend. For the horizontal axis, you go ahead and make your own changes, but this horizontal axis down here, you determine what it looks like, as well as the vertical axis. Step 9 says change the minimum and maximum values to best fit your data. Notice on the graph from 0 to 50, there's no data. So I'm going to set the minimum to 50 and set the maximum to 95. So notice now I start with 50 and go up to 95. It better incorporates all of that data. So there's my vertical axis. The last one is grid lines and ticks. I click the little caret to see my information. I can change the grid lines and ticks for the horizontal axis or the vertical axis. For the horizontal axis, definitely change your count to 24. This will allow each of the hours to show up along the bottom. It'll make it a little bit easier for us to read the data. You could also, if you want to change things for the vertical axis as well as you see fit. The next thing is to then copy and paste your graph into the lab as well as the Google Sheet. And remember to copy the graph, you hit the 3 dots, copy chart.